Growing up, I always associated the word no with a negative consequence. My mother used to tell me, no, I couldn't have the last slice of pizza. No, I couldn't have that last cookie. Or no, there was no snacks before dinner time. But as an adult, I understand the importance and the purpose of no. As an African-American male, I feel as if our society is yelling at me, no. I fit the stereotype, 5'8", sort of medium athletic build, body full of tattoos. I feel no when I walk past that couple and they clutch their purse a little tighter when I have my dress-down clothes on. I also feel no when I walk past cars with my jeans and tennis shoes on and that person locks the door. I feel society is screaming at us no when I look at the retention rates of African-American males in our educational system. I also feel society is screaming no when I look at the recent killings of African Americans who were killed with their hands up saying, don't shoot. I saw these killings on Facebook, I saw these killings on Instagram, and I also saw these killings on Twitter. I remember the first time that I heard no in our educational system. I was in the second grade, and in the second grade, I was an angry young boy. I was angry because, just like my friends, I didn't have my father in the home. I missed his touch. I missed his guidance. I missed his mentorship. So I had a void in my heart. So instead of talking about it, I used my fist to let go of my anger. While I was in second grade, I fought my way to express my anger. I fought my way to express my anger. I remember my teacher sitting me down, and I remember her saying to me this, no, you don't belong in this classroom. No, you don't belong in this school. When she told me no, I felt so defeated. I felt that the teacher in my class didn't believe in me. I felt she was doing the same thing that society was doing. She was screaming at me, no. I just read a book by Dr. Michael Porter, and in his books he talks about the misdiagnosis of African-American male boys in our classroom. Instead of my teacher figuring out what was going on with me, she told me that if I fought one more time in her classroom, she didn't care what was going on in my personal life, that no, I could no longer belong there. My mother made a very life-changing decision for me that altered and shaped the course of my life. My mother signed me up for youth sports. My mother signed me up for youth sports. And while in youth sports, I found that void that I was trying to feel. I found that void in my coach. My coach served as that father figure to me. My coach taught me the importance of hard work, the importance of teamwork, and my coach also taught me how to overcome societal's no. My coach instilled this in me, and this is something I keep with me until today. My coach used to always say to us, Reggie, and I would say, yes, sir. He would say, how do champions work? And I would respond, champions work hard all the time. He would say it again. How do champions work? Champions work hard all of the time. That was the first person to ever tell me that I was a champion, that I mattered, that I was important, that my voice was expected to be heard, because society always told me no. There was one thing my coach didn't tell me, and I always remember this is the only lie that I feel that my coach told me. My coach told me Sticks and stones may break your bones, but words should never hurt you. Now that I know the power of no, words do hurt. Hearing someone tell you no, it hurts. Having society tell you no, it hurts. I stayed with youth sports from 2nd grade to the 8th grade, and I decided that I wanted to play high school football. Now, I always had great relationships with my coach, but when I got to high school, things changed for me with my relationship to my coach. Now, in high school, I wasn't the most athletic kid, or I wasn't even the best player on the team. But I remember we was winning a game. We were winning 40-0. And at this time, I had a 3.0 GPA in 9th grade. We were winning 40-0. And I remember one of the assistant coaches who believed in me said to the head coach, "Hey, coach, you should put Reggie Stroble in the game. He's been working hard. Put him in." The head coach, looked back at the assistant coach and laughed. "No, he's not getting in. He doesn't deserve to get in. He's not a great enough player." When I heard that coach said no, I decided to quit football altogether. I made the mistake of letting no defeat me. I allowed no to have power over me and my life. When I quit sports, my GPA dropped to a 2.1 GPA because I felt like I didn't have that coaching or that fatherly figure anymore in my life, and I didn't know how to navigate through our system without a coach. When I graduated high school, I graduated with a 2.1 GPA, and I had to make some important choices for my life. I applied to Virginia State University, and in my acceptance letter, they said, "No, you're not allowed to come to our school unless you get your GPA up." So I decided to go to J. Sergeant Reynolds Community College, which is located in Richmond, Virginia. While I was at J. Sergeant Reynolds Community College, I also accepted a full-time position. So while I had this full-time position, I thought I was going to work within this company for 3 years, get my associate's degree, and hopefully just move up in the company, retire, and have a happy life. In 2009, my boss called me into his office, and he said, "Reggie, I know you've been working here for 3 years. You've worked really hard. We're so proud of you. I just thank you for your hard work. But I'm going to have to tell you, no, you can no longer work here." Hearing that word no again, I felt that same feeling that I felt in high school. I felt defeated, and I felt that I wanted to give up. I called my mother that day, and she really helped me and guided me through this process. She said, "Well, didn't Virginia State tell you no as well?" I said, "Yeah, Virginia State told me no." "Did you get your GPA up while you was in community college?" "Yes, I did." She said, "I want you to go to Virginia State University tomorrow and see will they tell you yes." So I went to Virginia State University, and I explained to them that they first told me no, but Virginia State told me yes on that day that I was accepted in. In that moment, I began to understand the power of no. While at Virginia State University, I developed my passion for going back to help young African-American males like myself. I wanted to go back and tell them yes, because society was telling them no. But I knew my place and I knew my purpose was to go back into our educational system. I reached out to some of my mentors and I asked them, what should I do with this passion? How can I spark this passion that I have? Somebody recommended to me that Virginia Tech had an excellent higher education program, but I did not have the GPA, which was a 3.0, to get accepted into the school. I still applied, knowing that Virginia Tech may told me no, and I got accepted in to the school. But they told me that I was only accepted in on conditional status, meaning if I did not get a 3.0 my first semester, that they would also tell me no, I would not be able to come back next. semester. I came to Virginia Tech. It was a little rough at first when I got here, but I was able to smooth my way through the couple of weeks in my first semester of grad school. I remember on November the 11th, I experienced a freakish accident on our drill field. I was playing a flag football game. My team was winning, by the way. They threw a pass. I run, and I go for this pass. There's somebody else going for this pass as well. As I reach my hands out, my hand misses the ball, but the person who else was going for the pass, their head hits my mouth. When their head hits my mouth, my 2 front teeth are missing. And I also split my lip in half. I remember laying on the hospital bed, and the doctor told me that I would have to be out of graduate school for a month. If you know anything about graduate school, if you miss one class, it's kind of hard to catch up. When he told me that I was going to be out for a month, I said, you know what? I quit. I'm going to let no defeat me again. Maybe Virginia Tech was right. Maybe I should have been accepted only on conditional status. I called my mother, and she actually flipped the script on me. She actually told me, no, you're not going to quit. No, you're not going to give up. And no, you're not going to give in, because there are people who are depending on you. There are other young African Americans who are looking at you and are depending on you to finish your degree at Virginia Tech so you can come home and you can inspire and motivate them. I'm so glad that I listened to my mother, and I'm so glad that she told me no, because I decided to stay, and I decided to turn my no into a yes while I was here at Virginia Tech. While I was here, I was able to host over 30 events for the African American community. I was able to study abroad in Punta Cana with our football team, and I also was able to graduate Virginia Tech actually with my highest GPA in our educational system with a 3.67 GPA. So I was able to turn my no into a yes while I was here. With my degree, I decided I wanted to go back to Richmond, Virginia, and I wanted to help and inspire the young youth there. I call them the next generation, potentially the next generation of Hokies, because they see me and they see inspiration and they see motivation. They say, if Coach can come to Virginia Tech and do it, then I also know that I can inspire, and I can also try to go to Virginia Tech and also do the same thing. Also with my team, they're 7 and 8. They have been on multiple college trips. Each coach on my staff is a certified professional in their field. And I also have speakers to actually come in and to speak to my team so they can learn how to overcome the no's that society is going to tell them. Now, when I think about no's as well, a lot of my football players, they ask me very interesting questions. One of my football players turned to me one day and asked me with tears in his eyes. He says, Coach, I said, yes, son. He said, why are we continuously getting killed on TV? Why do I have to keep witnessing us, or someone who looks like me, die on TV? And I had to respond to him and say, I'm sorry that you're witnessing this, but they actually did not get the opportunity, like me, to turn their no into a yes. So you have to go and you have to face society and turn your no's into a yes. And I wanted us to partake in a moment of silence. A moment of silence for the African Americans who did not receive the opportunity to turn their no into a yes. I know this hoodie on my head, this actually has been the first time I actually placed a hoodie on my head since the death of Trayvon Martin, that I too could be next on that screen because I'm perceived as a threat in our society. A society that continuously screams and yells at me and people who look like me. No. So as I tell my youth, and I tell all African Americans who speak and ask me for advice, don't look at societal's no as a defeating mechanism. Look at societal's no's as your next opportunity. Thank you.